Hello everyone, this is Dr. Sarita, Professor of Chemistry working in St. Peter's Engineering College. So today's talk is on nucleophilic substitution reactions, which is one of the important topic in organic reaction mechanism. So before going to the today's topic, just I want to give some of the introduction about organic reaction mechanism. So organic reactions are the chemical reactions involving organic compounds. A reaction mechanism is the stepwise sequence of the chemical reactions. So organic reaction mechanism describes about how the existing bonds will be broken and how new bonds will be formed to create the products. So here mainly two components are involved in the organic reaction mechanism. One is the substrate, other one is the reagent. Substrate is the compound on which the reaction will take place, and the reagent is the compound which will attack on the substrate. So these two will play a main role in the reaction mechanism. Now coming to how the reactions will happen in the organic reactions. So the existing bonds will be broken in two ways. One is the heterolytic fission and other one is the homolytic fission. In heterolytic fission, like if we are having a molecule like Rx and having a covalent bond between R and X, the covalent bond will be broken in two ways. That is, one is the heterolytic or other one is the homolytic fission. In heterolytic fission, the bond between the Rx, the bonded electrons will be completely taken up by the X, so that X will get the negative charge whereas R will get the positive charge, and this will happen when there is a high difference between the electronegativity of R and X. And if the electronegativity difference is less between the R and X, then the homolytic cleavage will take place, in which covalent bonded two electrons will be equally shared to R and X. So R will get one odd electron whereas the X also will get one odd electron, and forming the free radicals. So always in the heterolytic fission, ions will be formed, hence these reactions are known as the ionic reactions. And in the homolytic fission, radicals are formed, hence it is known as the radical reactions. Now coming to the reagents. Reagents are the species which will attack on the substrate. So we are having two different types of reagents. One is the nucleophile and other one is the electrophile. Nucleophile is the electron rich species, and the meaning of nucleophile is nucleus loving. So as it is having the negative charge or having lone pair of electrons, always it is having high affinity towards the positive charge species, and it can be represented as Nu, and the examples for the nucleophiles are Cl minus, bromine, iodide ion, cyanide ion, hydroxide ion, and some of the molecules which are having free electrons like bases like ammonia, amine, primary amine, water and alcohol. Because of the presence of lone pair electrons, these bases will act as the nucleophiles. So nucleophiles are the substances which are having high electron content and having high affinity towards the positively charged ions or groups. Coming to the other type of the reagents, that is electrophiles. The meaning of electrophile is electron loving, because they are having the positive charge, so they will always show high affinity towards the electrons, and these are electron deficient species. The group or atom which are having the positive charge like carbonium ion, or some of the molecules, neutral molecules which are having the electron deficient species, they will act as the electrophiles. Electrophiles are always having affinity towards the electrons. So these are the electron loving substances, and examples for the electrophiles are ions containing positive charge like H plus, Cl plus, Br plus, iodine plus, nitro, and some of the neutral like Lewis acids, like neutral molecules like Lewis acids, aluminum chloride and boron trifluoride. Coming to the types of organic reactions, there are many different kinds of organic reactions like addition, substitution, elimination, rearrangement, and oxidation reduction reactions, so which are known as the organic redox reactions. So one by one we will discuss all the reactions, different reactions. Substitution reactions. In substitution reactions, generally a group of atoms or a single atom will be replaced with the group of atom or single atom of the reagent. So substituted, based on the substituted group, maybe these are again classified into electrophilic substitution reactions and nucleophilic substitution reactions. Elimination reactions. In elimination reactions, two single atoms or group of atoms from the adjacent carbon atoms will be replaced or removed. So this is the elimination reaction, where generally the products of the elimination are the unsaturated compounds like alkenes and alkynes. Coming to the addition reactions. In addition reaction, generally the substrates are olefins, or compounds which are having unsaturation in their backbone. So in the addition reactions, the reagent will attack on the double bonded carbon atoms or double bonded atoms to form the products. So here also based on the first attacking species. Again, addition reactions also electrophilic additions and nucleophilic addition. If initially electrophile added to the substrate followed by the nucleophile, then that is known as the electrophilic addition reaction, and if it is the reverse, that is known as the nucleophilic addition reactions. So briefly we will discuss about the substitution reactions. In the substitution reactions, if the carbon atom is attached to the highly electronegative atom, like generally alkyl halides will undergo substitution reactions where the bond is highly polar, the carbon and halogen bond is highly polar, so easily alkyl group will remain as the cation, and the halogen atom will be eliminated as the halide ion, as a nucleophile. So the alkyl halides will undergo substitutions reactions, and these substitution reactions are easy and they are used to get variety of the compounds. Again, in the substitution reactions, based on the leaving group, if the nucleophile will be leaved, then that is known as the nucleophilic substitution reaction. If the electrophile will be leaved, then the reactions are known as the electrophilic substitution reaction. So in the nucleophilic substitution reaction, from the reagent, the nucleophile will substitute one of the atom from the substrate. So substrate will undergo substitution reaction by the nucleophile of the reagent, then that reactions are known as the nucleophilic substitution reactions. And nucleophilic substitution reactions are again two types: SN1 reaction and SN2 reactions, unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions and bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions. Example for the SN1 reaction is hydrolysis of 1-bromo-1,1-dimethyl ethane, that is tertiary butyl bromide in presence of water or aqueous NaOH to form 1,1-dimethyl ethanol tertiary butyl alcohol, and the byproducts here is HBr, hydrogen bromide. So in the SN1 reaction, the rate of reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of only substrate. The rate of reaction is independent on the concentration of the reagent. So for example, if the concentration of the substrate is doubled, the rate of reaction is also doubled. Means this indicates that the rate of reaction depends upon the concentration of substrate. And if the concentration of the reagent is doubled, then the rate of the reaction is not going to be doubled. What it indicates is, in the SN1 reaction, that is in the hydrolysis of tertiary butyl bromide, the rate of reaction is directly proportional to only the concentration of the substrate. Means rate of reaction depends upon only substrate. So according to this kinetics, the rate determining step or the slow step involves only one compound, that is tertiary butyl bromide. It indicates that the reaction will proceed with the two-step mechanism. Though in the first step, the bond between the carbon and bromine, as the bond is polar, bromine will be easily left along with its bonded electron as Br minus as the nucleophile, forming the tertiary butyl carbonium ion. This tertiary butyl carbonium ion is a planar carbonium ion, and it is the intermediate. In the second step, the nucleophile of the reagent will attack on the tertiary butyl carbonium ion, and after proton dissociation we will get our product, that is tertiary butanol. So in this mechanism we have two steps. The first step is the ionization, where bromine will leave, and in the second step, attack of the nucleophile of the reagent will take place on the carbonium ion. So this reaction mechanism will take place in two steps. So if we consider the reactivity of different alkyl halides in the SN1 reactions, here methyl bromide is having 0 and ethyl bromide also 0, propyl bromide 12, and tertiary butyl bromide is having high rate of reaction. This indicates that tertiary butyl bromide is showing high affinity towards the SN1 reaction. This is because of the stability of the intermediate which is going to be formed. Here in the SN1 reaction, the intermediate is carbonium ion, and the carbonium ion stability will be in the order of tertiary carbonium ion is having high stability than secondary than primary. So because of that reason, primary alkyl halides will not undergo SN1 reaction mechanism for their hydrolysis. So as the substitution increases on the carbon atom, its stability is going to increases, carbonium ion stability is going to increase. So in that way, tertiary butyl carbonium ion is highly stable and showing high rate of reaction towards the SN1 reaction. So now coming to the brief mechanism, as in the first step, as we are going to get the tertiary butyl carbonium ion, and which is a planar, tertiary butyl carbonium ion is a planar. For the reagent, there is a probability to attack from both sides. As carbonium ion is planar, the reagent may attack, means the attacking nucleophile may attack from front side and rear side of the carbonium ion. If it is going to attack from front side, there won't be any change in the configuration of the alkyl halide. We are going to get the same configuration of alcohol, whereas if there is inversion, if the nucleophile is going to attack from the rear side of the carbonium ion, then we are going to get the inverted product. So here we are going to get the inverse product if the nucleophile is going to attack from the back side or rear side of the carbonium ion. So in that way, if the carbonium ion is planar, if the alkyl halide is a chiral, then after the formation of the carbonium ion, as it is planar, the nucleophile may attack from both the sides, getting the equal mixture of the enantiomers. 50% retention of the configuration and 50% inversion of the configuration is possible by the attack of nucleophile and the carbonium ion. So if we are having the alkyl halide halide which is participating in the SN1 reaction, which is a chiral substance, then we are going to get the racemic mixture, that is the 1:1 ratio of the enantiomers. So this is known as the racemic mixture. And coming to the reaction profile for the SN1 reaction, the first step is the slow step, which is known as the rate determining step, and the second step, attacking of nucleophile, that is the fastest step. So here the reaction coordinate we are going to take on the x-axis, whereas the energy on the y-axis. We will get two transition state, where in the first transition state the leaving group is leaving from the alkyl halide, whereas in the second transition state the attacking group is attacking on the alkyl ion. So here the intermediate between these two transition state is the carbonium ion. So we are having two transition state. In between the two transition state we are having one intermediate in the reaction profile. So factors affecting on the SN1 reaction, as we have already discussed that SN1 reaction depends only on the concentration of alkyl halide. It will not depend upon the concentration of nucleophile or on the reagent. And also based on the, it will be also based on the basicity of the leaving group. If the leaving group is having high basicity, means a higher base, then it will leave easily. So in that case rate of reaction for the SN1 reaction will be more. Coming to the other type of nucleophilic substitution reaction, that is SN2 reaction. SN2 stands for bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction, and example for the SN2 reaction is hydrolysis of methyl bromide. Primary alkyl halides will undergo SN2 reaction. Here we are going to consider the example of bromomethane. On hydrolysis we are going to get the methanol. So according to the reaction kinetics, the rate of reaction for the hydrolysis of bromomethane will depend upon the concentration of both the bromomethane as well as on the reagent also. Means the rate of reaction depends upon concentration of substrate as well as concentration of nucleophile. So if the concentration of substrate is doubled, the rate of reaction is doubled, and if the concentration of the reagent is doubled, rate of reaction is also doubled, and if the concentration of both reagent as well as substrate is doubled, then the rate of reaction is going to quadruplate. Means according to this, the rate of reaction depends upon both the concentration of substrate as well as concentration of the alkyl halide as well as concentration of the nucleophile. So here coming to the SN2 reactions. In SN2 reactions, primary alkyl halides will show high relative rate of reaction compared to the tertiary alkyl halide because of the steric hindrance. And coming to the mechanism, the attacking group of the reagent, that is nucleophile of the reagent, will directly attack on the methyl bromide, that is our substrate, so that a transition state is formed where the carbon atom of the alkyl halide is attached to both the weakly bonded to both the leaving group as well as to the attacking group. This is the transition state, and after that slowly the leaving group, that is bromine, will leave along with its bonded electrons in the form of bromide, so that we will get the methyl alcohol as the product. So here on simultaneously attacking of the attacking group as well as the leaving group also will be removed from the reagent or substrate from in single reaction or in the single step. So if the alkyl halide is chiral, if the alkyl halide which is undergoing SN2 reaction is chiral, then we are going to get the inversed product, because the attacking group will prefer to the backside of the methyl group or to the backside of alkyl halide, because the attacking group is leaving group is already attached to the alkyl halide. So there is no possibility for the attacking nucleophile from the same side of the leaving group. Obviously it has to attack from the opposite side, leading to the inversion of the product. So that is known as the Walden inversion. So always in the SN2 reaction, if the alkyl halide is a chiral, then we are going to get the inversed alcohol, which is known as the Walden inversion. And coming to the reaction coordinate of the SN2 reactions, if we are not having any steric effect, then we will get the stable transition state. And if we are having steric hindrance, means bulky groups are present in the alkyl halide, then steric hindrance is possible, then we will have high reaction, high activation energy for that particular transition state, leading to the lower stability of the transition state. So if there is no steric hindrance in the transition state of the substrate, then that will have low activation energy and high stability, whereas if there is a bulky groups present in the alkyl halide, then that will leads to the steric hindrance, and that will leads to high activation energy of the reagent transition state, that will leads to the lower stability. So always in the SN2 reaction mechanism, there will be inversion of the configuration takes place. So this is about the nucleophilic substitution reactions.